Happy Saturday, everybody. It is the pregame show where we hang out before Texas takes on the Mississippi State Bulldogs. You guys need to join Inside Texas for just $1. Team news, recruiting news, and analysis. Very uneventful morning. There's really nothing to discuss. So I think we'll just let's talk about the weather probably or something like that. But
yeah,
William Henderson's not playing around. Thanks for the super chat, man. All right, greater than 50% chance neither Sark or BV are on the sidelines in Dallas next season. The rumor was floated as a pregame excuse for an L. All right, so what he's referencing is this morning an athletic reporter stated that Sark's representatives, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys, Sark's representatives specifically had stated that Sark had interest in the NFL and then specifically in relation to the Titans.
That was Diana Rossini's report. That's correct.
Okay. From The Athletic, right?
Yeah.
So that comes out. Then, everybody's like, well, what's up with this, right? With their theories. And then CAA, who is Sark's agency, Jimmy Sexton and company, put out that these rumors are not true and that Sark is fully committed to being the head coach at the University of Texas. So that's the background on what happened this morning when the Twitterverse was all abuzz. So as far as BV being there, I think he will get one more year. Because here's the thing. Do you want to get involved in this coaching cycle? Because everyone's going to be open. To me, if you want to fire someone, you want to fire them next year. Like, let all this year kind of end and then go have your pick. Because you're going to be – it's going to Auburn, Florida, all of that stuff. So I think BV does get one more year with these changes. As far as Sark, no clue, man. These rumors are very weird. And they're not great timing, right? We don't know whose camp it comes from, inside the building, outside the building, agents. We don't know. We just know some gamesmanship has begun, and that's generally not a positive sign. So that's kind of the reality. And especially right now, man, when the team's kind of on the edge to put that out before a game, I don't know. The rumor
somebody is looking for leverage from somewhere. We don't know exactly where that is right now. And all we can do is focus on, and what all Sark can do at this point is focus on beating Mississippi State, running the football, and focusing on his task at hand, which is Saturday and start.
Your world has to be very small right now if you're in that locker room, and that's what you got to focus on.
Blinders on, baby.
Yeah, and the rumor was floated as a pregame excuse for an L. No, there's a lot of theories. We're not going to speculate. That's one theory that I'm okay with saying that, no, that's not why it was done.
That's Recky Specky right
there. That could honestly be probably one of the top 5 worst things that you could do before losing a game.
I was going to say that.
I'm saying that's not what he would do.
Yeah, that's.
If he knew he's going to lose, that's the last thing he's going to say.
Yeah.
He's not going to say, hey, by the way, might be interested in leaving.
Yeah, because that's just. And whoever put it out, it's just not wise, man. The fans are, cantankerous right now. Some for good reason, some for not. And it's whoever was running this PR campaign flubbed it. I don't know who did it, but not the time, dude. And reconsider what your strategies are. Whoever did it, and like I said, I don't know. But yeah, it's definitely been an interesting morning. I was trying to relax a little bit, but guess not.
Yeah.
So y'all can go to Inside Texas. There's a big thread on it if you guys want to talk about it and speculate whatever you want to do. And then, of course, our big dogs, our reporters are sniffing around trying to get you what you need to know there. But for the analysis crew, we're going to analyze actual football and not the TMZ side of things. And Mississippi State poses a legitimate threat. They are better than they were last year. They have an improved defense, at least definitely in the pass game. And their offense, the veer and shoot, is legitimate. It's weird because when it works, it really works. When it doesn't work at all. We got to see which version we get of that. That is a big factor. My first thing is going to be actually, do you guys want to do the Texas defense keys first or the Texas offense keys first?
Let's end on a high note. So let's talk the Texas offense first if we can.
Okay. All right, this is what we want to see. So first things first, I normally hate these kind of quotes. I like to analyze football, but I think it's a factor now. Handle the noise, literally cowboy bells.
Literally.
Handle that. And then all this stuff that just occurred off field. We saw, and Nash posted a really good clip and got a lot of views for Colin Simmons post game. And, he stood up for the offense, made the culture look good. Taff was a little bit chippy as well.
Taft looked like he wanted to fight people.
Yeah, Taft looked legit mad. But I also think there was probably a factor with his thumb there too. I think there's probably a lot going on mentally for him right then. But the defense stood up for the culture, and that was important. This news this morning, of course, hurts the culture. So they're going to, like I said, the world's going to have to get small, handle the crowd noise of Mississippi State. They will get into it. Those cowbells are absolutely annoying. But, the players have social media too. So, and they don't know what's true and what's not. They're human beings. So they're kind of in that spot too. So just, hey, man, just focus on this game because especially with all this, even before this, you had to win this one, right, guys?
Yep. No, totally agree. Avoiding noise can be hard because so many people in your ear, not just like social media, but you got people it's close to you calling you, hey, what's up? I heard this what's going on. It's like you got to try to block out everybody. No, we're all human at the end of the day, but for these next 3 hours, man, these kids just need to really, really lock in and say, hey, forget about the noise. I'm going to take care of what I can take care of on the field and let the rest fall where it may. But, you got to just, you got to block out the noise. And that comes from your own family, too. Trust me.
Yep. On that same note, too, real quickly, just a note related to CJ Baxter. I expect a simplified game plan, especially when it comes to the average depth of target, right? I don't expect that Sark is going to have to – we're going to plan on sitting Arch back for longer durations in the pocket behind a unit that has struggled to pass protect, especially against a unit like Mississippi State, who is going to send pressure. They're going to zone blitz from a bunch of different areas of the field and force communication where communication is key, but it's already infinitely more difficult anyways with all the cowbells in play. CJ Baxter's his prowess in pass protection is important today, whether or not he's healthy enough to get a heavy workload. I know Inside Texas has been all over that report all week long and honestly all season long, but don't underestimate the value of having an extra quarterback because that's what CJ Baxter is. That's what the coaching staff, the offensive unit as a whole, collectively, how they view him. His mind, Arch himself has said it. Steve Sarkisian himself has said it. Don't underestimate the psychological impact of just guys holding each other to a higher standard, being on the field together, and sort of just the subtle nuances and the responsibilities of running backs beyond just carrying the football in a game like this. So.
And Sark said he's a calming force.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's even that when he's on the field, and he's a better pass blocker. So we'll see. I don't think he's going to get a ton of actual carries. We'll see, but it still doesn't mean he won't add value to being on the field. It's a big thing.
Right there.
We need to execute the run game. Mississippi State is 103rd in yards per rush on the defensive side, and they've really struggled there. And we broke it down on some film study. We're not a great rushing offense. We know that. But Sark mentioned in the presser after Kentucky that, hey, all right, yeah, we're going to have I'm not going to give away the game plan, but we're going to have a coherent strategy, right? And the only strategy we've seen work against Power 5, Power 4 teams is the kind of OU style. Outside zone run game, that's where Trey Wisner really shines. That's how you maximize Trey because he's smart and he can read well. He understands those cuts. So execute the run game. Don't make the offensive line block too much. You don't know which arch you're going to get from game to game. We'll see. But you don't want to just assume to put a bunch of load on him. You kind of want to, hey, if he's looking solid and he's making those completions, then add. But don't start off heavy on arch. You're going to have to see what arch you get today. And that's going to be a big factor.
Yeah, that's the decision. You make that decision. Go ahead, Nash.
I was going to say Arch Manning himself, you want to avoid running Arch Manning because he's already taken a lot of hits this season. Sure. Whether it's just like forget just being in the pocket, him running the football, he's also taken a lot more hits than when yours did last year. So, and I think you're also starting to see Arch Manning. He's starting to look a little bit slower and a little bit more sluggish, not as fresh than normal. Because let's be honest, that Oklahoma game that was rough for him. Like they even talked about, hey, he's not 100%, coming out of that, but he's still more than in playing condition. Keeping the ball, he's been the guy that we had to rely on to have our run game working this year. So having the running backs, getting the run game working and not having to have Arch Manning run the ball for us, that's going to be a big thing for us if we can have that happen.
Yep.
Yeah. I was going to say, they're going to be hyped up. Mississippi State is. They're going to probably get you for a couple tackle for loss. please don't go away from the run game just because they get you for a 2-yard loss here or there. Like, continue with it. It's going to break open because they're ranked near the bottom, like you're posted here. So I think we just really got to be consistent, stick with it, and don't get in your own head. So I can be like, I got to pass the ball. All right, we're behind the sticks. Like, no, continue to run. You've seen it across college football. It'd be 3rd and 8. People still run. Like, if that's what works, run the football, man. Just continue at it. It's going to break open at some point.
It's a decision. It's a choice that you make and prep on Monday all week long before you head into any potential matchup, regardless of where it is. Arch is going to look better if Texas makes the decision to commit to what they know works. Sark leaning into more of the Texas floor. He wants to be multiple. That's who he is to his core. It's part of being a pro-style guy, right? Multiplicity, not just with your personnel packages, but with the way that you deploy your personnel. All right. Maybe just it's time to make that decision right now. There's too much evidence. 3 out of Arch's 8 career starts at this point have looked hit or miss. A lot of that is multifaceted. So, okay, go away from trying to maximize and hit your ceiling this year and lean into some of the things that works. Some of those things, like we've already touched on, outside zone. What plays well off of outside zone? Play action boot game. What does Arch do well more so than the alternative this year, right? It's difficult for any of us to dispute he's better throwing on the run this year. He looks more comfortable throwing on the run, and it also allows him to use his legs. It's not difficult, guys. It's a simple formula. The formula is simple. Choose physicality and commit to what you know you are good at right now. What you have had success, like Homer mentioned, against a Power 4 opponent already once this year. Do that and see what happens.
Yeah. Big thing is sustained drives, and this is to help the defense. So we'll talk about this more in the defensive section, but Mississippi State is 9th in the country in tempo, right? And if Texas is going 3 and out, Kentucky ran 86 plays, dude. That's a 12 personnel running team, ran 86 plays. That's insane. Like, we could have, what was it, Texas Tech year 1, right, or year 2, whatever, when we ran like 103 plays on defense. That's what we have to avoid here. So we have to sustain drives, hit your field goals, take your points, of course, but you can't have back-to-back 3 and outs. You have to play complementary football here, or I'm not going, unless the defense just gives up 50, I'm not going to be sitting here on post-game mad at the defense if for whatever reason they break down at the end. You know, they're not the whole football team, as Colin Simmons has pointed out.
Hey, yeah, give me more of the opening drive versus Oklahoma in the 3rd quarter. Like, sustain a drive the field. Like, eat up some clock, man. Makes that offense for Mississippi State even more predictable. So, if we really can find a way to, pick up a couple first downs and drive maybe 80 yards and end with points, hopefully a touchdown, I think you can take a lot of spirit out of a lot of teams. So I want to see a lot of that myself.
Yeah. Avoid interceptions. So what Mississippi State's been great at is they're 7th in the country in interception rate. And Eric's pointed out there's some NFL guys in that back end. And when we were doing the film study, they cover well. It's not some like cute little scheme thing like, whoa, we haven't seen this defense. They're playing good coverage. And so that's a big factor where they're good at getting that turnover. Arch hasn't struggled with that, minus a few early games where he would just he was basically just like, can you do this in college? And then he realized very quickly, no, you cannot do that in college. The one thing that Arch has done that has saved this offense is the bottom from completely falling out is not turning over the ball. If you had these struggles and turn over the ball, I mean, you're going to lose everything.
And in the same breath, it's like just sensing and avoiding pressure, right? Eliminating negative plays too. It's those two things are hand in hand.
Yeah. Well, and it seems almost like it feels like wrong to say this, but Mississippi State is the best pass defense we're going to face the rest of the way.
That does feel wrong.
They are like it feels horrible to say that because you got Georgia, Texas A&M, Vanderbilt still on the schedule, right? But they're top 25 defense and passes defended. They're top 25 defense and opponent pass rating. They're top 30 in opponent pass yards per game. Like this team, they play the ball through the air and they play good defense on the back end. So like that's one of those things I thought like the point earlier where, hey, we're gonna need to, like what Lando said, we're gonna need to bring this average depth of target down this game, and use more of that screen game, use more of those quick quick shots to the sideline, get the ball in space, because this is not a defensive backfield that you want to just start testing. But I mean, at the same time, this is a defensive backfield that if Arch Manning looks good today, I'm like, hey man, I got some confidence moving forward because this is probably the best one that he's going to face the rest of the way, up until the postseason.
And also, so part of that too, building off that thought, Nash, I just sent you a question in the private chat too, if you want to take a peek at that real quick. But back to the main objective here. When you know that you have a competent secondary like this who's really good at mixing up their looks, a lot of times what happens when you're zone blitzing is pressure comes from depth, right? And when pressure comes from depth, it takes a little bit longer. They're trying to force confusion and hesitation so that it gives them time to get home from depth. But one of the ways that you can mitigate that is to obviously implement misdirection, which a Steve Sarkisian offense is really good at. But the problem is with crowd noise, that can nullify that as well. So just the philosophy in its simplest form is get the football out. And we've already seen them have success just meticulously matriculating the ball down the field against teams like Oklahoma. So it's not insane or crazy to imagine Texas repeating a similar game plan and doing that again and having some success, especially if they can commit to outside zone and just be efficient. You don't have to be explosive to play ball control and complementary football when you have an elite caliber defense like Texas does. Where all we need is 4.5 yards of carry and a commitment to it, and then you're going to have a chance to be in the football game at the end of the day.
You pick your shots off of that, right? And hit them,
Hit them.
But Sark has this tendency of he's competitive. He's like, oh, y'all got a good passing defense.
Yep.
We'll see about, and it's like, dude, avoid that urge. It's like, dude, or the urge of this of like, well, everyone knows we're gonna go with Oklahoma's game plan, meaning they're gonna try it. Therefore, I'll do this. It's like, no, once again, like just do what we know. We don't have the ability right now to be multiple and versatile and tricks of the trade. Like we have to be bread and butter. It's okay for Texas to say this is an outside zone offense with quick passing and the occasional deep shot. That's totally fine because it's the only thing that we know that we can do. Yep. But also these games are so weird. I wouldn't be surprised if something totally different happened and we had a good game, but it's the best theory right now is at least to try to run back that OU style. Handling pressures. So it doesn't matter if they're a pressure team. Because everyone's on tape is becoming one against us. Why wouldn't you? I mean, it's free money. And so even if they weren't, everyone's going to run it now, and they're running very similar stuff. If you guys watched the All 22, they run everything at the left side. Like I never see a stunt to the right side. Like everything's at the left side. And what originally was, I think it was Florida, I can't remember, but one of them started taking the end from the C gap to the A gap, crossing the left guard's face, whoever it was. They couldn't pick it up. And then the next stage or the next innovation, I think, was Kentucky that said, we're going to do that same thing, but we're not going to use an end. We're going to use a faster player. So whether it's a nickel outside or a linebacker outside. So we're going to do the same concept, but we're going to send a fast guy. When we were doing the Mississippi State All 22, they already do that. They were doing that. So they've already practiced it. They understand it, and they know it's our weakness. So just more games to the left side. We know that's coming. What do we do? That's going to be the big thing of handling pressures going forward. And Paul pointed out, we are the worst offensive line in Power 4 in pressures.
Yeah.
We throw out all the G5 stuff. Texas is at the very bottom.
And let's not excuse the play caller from that either. The quarterback for being slow to decipher, the offensive front for being for not communicating and handling those well, but then also the coordinator for putting both of the aforementioned into those positions. It's a multifaceted
without a quick outlet.
Correct.
Right.
Like I need to see Trey Wisner needs to be in the flats every damn pass concept.
I was just gonna say that. We didn't see much of that in Kentucky. He had to pick up the extra man a lot of times. He wasn't able to leak out like he did versus Oklahoma, and he really hurt Oklahoma that way. And we can really, really use him out in the flats as a check down, man, because he has the ability to make people miss in space and get those extra tough yards that we need.
Well, and it's also we've seen Max protect. It doesn't work either. So it's like I get it. We're like, well, you have to keep 7 in when they're pass. No, we don't.
No, we don't.
Like, get the Arch better know this guy is open, and it should be a second. As soon as he sees that color flash across his face, it's going to Trey, right? Like that's what we have to do. And
Look,
that's scheme design from the coordinator as well. So good point, Lando.
I think
people really weren't happy with go ahead. No, you're good.
Especially with CJ Baxter back, spread to pass protect is I think a much more advantageous decision for Texas today in this game, right? Because like Homer just hinted at it, I'll elaborate just a hair. When you in theory, max protecting does bring more protection, but if you struggle in that department in general, you're just inviting more chaos and creating more gaps and things. Just gap exchanges become more difficult for teams who love to stunt. It's a problem. So spread to pass, spread to pass protect, and just let CJ Baxter be your insurance policy back there today a little bit more often, and you might be okay.
Yeah, Baxter and pass go. But I want to see Wisner in the flats. Like, give him those opportunities, man. Like the whole sell on Wisner is that he's a leader and he's tough as hell. So it's like, give him opportunities to fire people up, to be tough as hell. Like that matters for your team, right? And if for whatever reason outside zone isn't working, which Trey runs perfectly, he still needs give him opportunities to lead. Don't just say they stopped this. And so that's what I want to see too, to really utilize Trey, because we need him. All right. Limit pre-snap penalties. That's just a no-brainer. We know what that is. We're really bad in penalties. They come and go, but
they come at the worst times.
They come at the worst times.
They seem to always find their way into the game at the worst times when we don't want them. Like that's the part that.
And be aware of that. Be aware of that, because Sark apologized. He was like, I shouldn't have ran that sweep in overtime. And even, which is also sad that Sark says I can't run sweep because I know I can't trust my guys to not. But it's, you know what's up. Don't run sweep in a high pressure. Any situations where holds are common. And Arch has to be aware too. Hey, man, if you break the pocket at a close time, they're probably going to hold. Like quarterbacks that leave the pocket cause holds when they run out of the leverage. So they just all have to be aware of that, but we have to limit pre-snap 1,000%. Loud environment. They're going to try to jump on you early. Levy's beat us before. It's Texas, so they don't like you. All these factors here are for a team that's likely going to come out swinging, right? So that's going to be a major factor.
And like you said from that Sark thing, like him saying, "Hey guys, sorry, I can't call a sweep," right? Yeah. That's almost him talking to his team, like, "Hey, like." Can you let me call plays? Right? Like, I'm trying, like, help me help you. You know, we're trying to win games here, and just go knock somebody in the face, man. You know, it's damn.
It's a trick. All right, before we keep going though, guys, guess what? Academy Sports and Outdoors proudly honors our brave military and first responders for everything you do to protect our nation and serve our local communities. We appreciate your unmatched dedication and countless sacrifices. And from October 19th through November 11th, Academy is giving you a salute with 10% off your sports and outdoors purchases at your local Academy store and online at academy.com/discount. Exclusions do apply. All right. Any final thoughts?
You've got 27 seconds to score 8 points.
I thought they fumbled. I thought he fumbled.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, I think
I don't have it on.
I see 16 on mine. Yeah, rolling on the Bills fumble. We'll see. Look, hey, maybe you can get saved by the SEC officiating one more time.
No, they're out on that. They can hang that part up. Hey, I will like to say this. I don't want to see Nick Brooks as the one. I know he like to fake power and pull the guard and get out front. Like, I don't want to see him in space versus anybody. Can we kind of stop doing that? Maybe use slide protection, but I don't want to see any false pullers, man.
But it's also tough with Nick Brooks is because it's like you can't knock him. Like you can in that way, but it's just like, dude, he's third straight. What are we doing? You know? And so it's like I have to be really careful. Like I constantly just say the left guard position because
it's an 18-year-old tackle, man.
Yeah, they've all played poorly. So I'm just talking about that position in general. And it's tough. Like, I do want to get on Nick Brooks for some things, but it's not his fault. He's been put in a crazy position. Now he can't get better because now you're in the position, dude. So just it is what it is. But
yeah, I feel bad for that dude. I mean, like he's like a guy that like, hey, entered the year third string tackle, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, by the way, now because you're the highest upside that we have, and because our floor is so low that we have to rely on shooting for upside. There you go, bud.
Yeah. Well, and look, man, Hudson's out too. And look, Hudson hasn't been good. Period.
Right.
Like left guard gets a lot of flack. Center's played horrible too all year. And so it's been those two in tandem that have looked really bad. What's unfortunate is Goosby's having rough games because the left guard's blowing stuff.
Yeah.
So it's making Gooseby on tape not look as good because I assumed you got it or the technique's wrong. So that whole left side of the line is in trouble right now. But we're going to have Robertson, and he didn't have a good game either last week from the All-22. So I want to pick on left guard, but truthfully, it's that whole left side of the line that's struggling right now. Gooseby would be in a great place if he was on last year's line, but it's causing issues there. So the advantage that Cole Hudson did give you was just being old enough and really having the calls down. But now we're struggling with that. So it's tough, but hey, Sark, we know that coming in, right? So that has to be addressed game plan wise.
Goosby's got to be like that Shannon Sharp meme when they're going over the film from games. Like, what do I do?
Yeah. Like I'll watch Gooseby mess up, and I'm like, yeah, I get it. Like he let that guy fire right at you, or something like that. It's like he's been put in bad spots. So
Goosby's looking side-eyed over there at Breaker playing next to Campbell.
Yeah. So this is what we want to see on offense. Did we miss any key pieces, guys, that you think I didn't mention?
I think we hammered pretty much everything, the lowest of the hanging fruits here. So yeah,
we hammered it pretty hard there.
Yeah.
All right, chat. You can let us know what's up too. You guys think so? Let's move on to the defensive keys. Okay, so just
that top one right there, man. Fans that are in here right now, that is it right there.
So we're gonna face what's called the veer and shoot. Our man Ian named the offense, and all you need to think of is the famous quote in poker. I think it was Doyle Brunson, but he says the whole point of poker is to put a man to a decision, right? And if they pass, good for them. But most of the time, they don't pass. But you put the pressure on them. Them schematically, they will take a bunch of receiver types, fast guys, and they'll send them out. More than just the traditional spread. They'll get them near the sidelines, right? They'll stack them up. And what they're doing is they're pulling apart your defense and your secondary. And they're saying, look, you're going to have to pre-snap. You're going to have to show me what you're doing. Like you can have fun with all your disguises. Good luck. You'll be out of position. So take your overhangs, and they're going to be way out in no man's land. Let's see if you can play in space. And because of that, they are a spread to run team. You would immediately think, oh, that's a passing team. It's not. It's a rushing team that they're getting all your guys out of the picture. And so when you do that, if you leave too many guys in the box, well, now they're going to hit you outside for a pass. And then what they really want you to do is send guys out and then play from a light box. Now, great defenses stop the run from a light box. You are not a great defense if you're stopping the run with 8-7 guys. If you watch the Georgias, the Ohio States, they are down a man and they are still shutting it down. So that's what we need to see from Texas, because I would assume we are still going to spread with them. We have to. We'll talk about their pass threats. But, hey, man, you'll see in the Florida tape, they're playing 5 4-man boxes. And so they're going to make you do that. You have to stop the run. You don't have enough guys for the gaps. So you're going to have to 2-gap. You're going to have to scrape. But good teams get that done.
I'm not alone on this island when I say this. And I've had conversations publicly and privately with very, 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 very well-informed and plugged-in people, not just in college football world, but in the NFL world. And they agree that defensive tackle is not necessary. It's not a core 5 position, technically. But in my opinion, for the reasons that Homer just laid out there, defensive tackle is the second most important position in the sport, and also the second most difficult position to find because of the numbers game that it allows you to play. Look no further than Texas in recent years. The bodies and the players, the NFL caliber, first and second day NFL caliber players that they have continuously reloaded that position with. It's not a secret why Texas has been competitive and been in the playoff run. And it's large, thanks in large part due to that defense, which has been buoyed by their defensive interior. and that's going to be another factor yet again today. So just wanted to get
and it's like the old adage, right? And it's cliches are cliches for a reason because they work. The game is won and lost in the trenches, and it's no secret that when Texas is doing good, right, on defense, it's like we got a killer defensive line, right? They're out there controlling the line of scrimmage. Well, look at our offense right now, right? But where's the problem on our offense? It's right at the offensive line. It's in the trench. So that's where you're going to win and lose games. And I mean, because that's where the game starts. Like that's where the play starts. It's starting in the snap, right? And those are when you're talking about dudes going to war, those are the dudes going to war. Like they are like those are your modern day gladiators going down there in those trenches. And like they're like you said, I mean, like you just and this is where you see the NFL. You'll see the NFL. They'll take some dude that like from he like grew up in Europe playing soccer his entire life, right? But he's just got this huge NFL body, and he there's just this off chance that he might work out as an NFL defensive tackle. So you take him and you try and make it work.
Christian Okoye from Nigeria, he plays for the Ravens. He's on their practice squad right now.
I was going to say Africa. I meant to. Yep. I said the wrong country, but yeah,
that's a classic example of what you just said. Yep.
And they'll also that's why a guy like Apuna Ford, they don't rule out the short guys. Because I mean, dude, if a dude can play defensive tackle, dude can play defensive tackle.
And also, Nash, why? Because it's just one of the things that I've been passionately ranting about with Texas making a decision. Because especially with Puna, it's proof. Pad level wins.
It does,
especially on that tush push. I mean, that's where if you win the tush push is because you got pad level, and maybe a false start that didn't get called. But
I'll say all of it sounds good. But you putting big guys in space with their wide splits. The way the run is designed in the veer and shoot, like you got almost two gap, like you got to be able to move. Again, which gets tired, which means guys got to rotate. So the guys who come in got to play just as good as the first string guys because I don't know if everybody goes back and look at Art Browns. Like Baylor used to run the ball. When we ran it with Sterling Gilbert, I think we had a 2,000-yard rusher. So it's made to design a lot of space, get a lot of creases up front, right? So those big guys that we're talking about, they really got to play really, really well and and the linebackers got to read well. You make one false step, running back's cutting back. Anthony Hill did not have a good game last year facing this same offense, right? We chose to play too deep and keep everything in front of us and say, hey, run the ball. But they got to be able to do that, duplicate or build on what they did last year and really, really start to run with five.
And they did run the ball.
They ran the ball well. Who's to say they can't do it this time? Because they got an influx of transfers and better running backs and a better offense than they had last year.
Fluff is out, right? I was going to say, is Fluff out? I hope.
I'm not
and
sure.
Then also, too, I also want to say, too, the difference between Van Buren and Blake Shapen is noteworthy.
Yeah.
But still, it's to Coach's point, fatigue is going to be in play here, and you got to be able to two-gap a little bit in space, like play in space. That's going to be a factor today. So
if you don't two-gap, your backers have to read incredibly well, and Jet Bush always talks about it. So you, as a linebacker, you're going to have to scrape a lot, but he always says it. He's like, there's like 3 ways to control a gap, and the one I always sticks out to me is control it with your eyes. So it doesn't have to come and fit, if it's an A gap and they're going to C, but if you have to go hang on the A gap, look there, make the back cut, now you can cut to C. So the backers need to be controlling the gaps with their eyes so running backs realize you're looking at me, I'm not going there. If they start running outside zone laterally, and they, like we said, they run the 9th most plays, they're trying to tire you out. So they're also going to call plays in which the defensive tackles have to move a lot. Luckily, we have depth there, but it's a huge factor. And the linebackers have to fit. They can't false fit. They can't come and fit a gap because we also did on film study. Texas is not good at defense on the perimeter. We get sucked in all the time, and these backs just bounce out. Now, normally we have good team speed. We can turn that 8-yard. We can stop it from being 15, but it should have been a 0-yard run, and it turns into 8 with that. And we saw Mississippi State's back will go up and they'll press the line. They'll get linebackers collapse, and they'll bounce outside.
Yeah.
So that's what you have to watch for too. We have to be sound. We can't get caught looking inside because we've done that against every team. I mean, the G5 was running perimeter stuff at us because they knew it was a thing. So that's what's big in the run game. I think you do concede the run game a little bit. It's kind of the modern NFL approach, right? Like, hey man, you run for 3 all you want as long as you're not throwing explosives. And then we'll meet you situationally, right? When it's 3rd and 2, okay, now we're going to do it. But If you want to be slow and run the ball, go ahead. We'll see. But you have to do it from a light box, and that's going to be the big key. Number 2, and I think, Charlie, can you explain your article from earlier in this week about what Mississippi State was interested in? Because I think it goes with the we have to get sacks point.
Yeah, definitely. Just talking to a source there, pretty much they feel okay with trying to block Texas if Texas has 4. Or anything other than that, they don't know how well they'll hold up. They got some injuries on the offensive line. They feel like they have chances to win in the run game and the pass game. But the biggest concern was, can they hold up versus the Texas front? That is the tricky part. That's the hard part. And like we said, trenches winning the game. That's where the game is won. Mississippi State has some worries and some doubts there. But if they feel like they can hold up, they feel like they'll be able to take their deep shots and be able to run the football well. So it's going to be yet to be seen if it can be done. But that's the only chance they have.
That's the plan of attack. And they're 121st in the country in sack rate, and Blake Shapen leads the SEC in pressure to sack rate. Okay, so he's not been good at avoiding the pressure, and they give up pressure. So, hey, Simmons has been on a tear. Let's get Trey Moore, Hill, Simmons, whoever's got to be involved. Whenever they do try to take these deep shots, which we'll talk about, you got to punish them. Because if you give them time, they have the receivers that they'll win. Maybe not every rep, but they'll win, and they'll win a majority of those reps. And so you have to be aware of that. You have to land these sacks.
Yeah, I mean, Shapen is, when you remove the sacks too, he's the bottom of the SEC in yards per carry from quarterbacks. He's just not mobile, right? Like that's just
which is weird because at Baylor he did enough,
Well, when I say he's not mobile, like he can run, like that's you said, that's the weird.
I'm just surprised he's not effective at all. He used to, with Baylor's scheme, he used to be able to get you, but I think those injuries have probably added up over the years too on him.
Yeah, I kind of agree right there because I mean, he'll pick up the 10-yard runs every now and then, right? But I mean, it's just he's kind of limited in that mobility aspect, and it kind of sticks out like a sore thumb when you're sitting there 121st in sack rate.
Yeah, the opportunities are there. They've had injuries, as Coach pointed out, at tackle, and Blake can't get away, and we have elite pass rushers that are NFL players. So this should be something that we can hang our hat on for the defense. Stop them on early downs, get them into third downs, and then get the sack. This all works together. Limit deep shots. So we all know Brennan Thompson, who was with us. He was trying to do track and football, and it just wasn't working. He's not doing that anymore. He's locked into football, and he's gotten a lot better, guys. Beyond just being real fast, not football fast, legitimate track speed fast. He makes good adjustments with the ball in the air. He makes hard catches.
Yes.
He's become a real receiver, and I think he leads the SEC right now in ADOT. So he's the biggest deep threat in the league. I'm pretty sure from my earlier this week, but he's close, if not number 1.
He's got all world speed, man. There's no doubt about it.
Well,
and real receiver skills now too.
He's what you say when you're okay, is it a track guy or a football guy? He's a football guy with track speed, right?
Yes.
He is, and like you said, Homer. I mean, him focusing now on just football, you're actually seeing he's a legit veteran wide receiver. He's dangerous, and you cannot let him get over the top, because if you do, he will burn you.
Yeah, he will.
And he's obviously going to be motivated for this game too.
1,000%. He's the fastest guy on the field, period. And they use him like that too. Sometimes you get these really fast guys, but the coaches don't call enough shots. They will call enough shots to him. They'll call shots to him early. They don't go away from it. His strengths are utilized well.
He's responsible for 50% of their deep ball percent, deep throws. So when they're throwing the ball 25 yards or further, he's gotten 50% of those throws, 13 of 26. He's clearly their favorite guy. And then the next highest guy is 3 targets.
The fact that the source said we want to turn into a track meet, we'll win that all day, lets you know, we know we got real track speed on the outside. So it's we definitely don't want to be in that situation.
All of them have it. Mosley's fast. No, not Brennan Thompson fast, but Mosley's fast. Anthony Evans out of Georgia, from Georgia, he's fast. And so how they use him is different, though. Brennan Thompson is a legit deep threat with his ADOT. Anthony, so if you think about it this way, Brennan Thompson is go and get it. Anthony Evans is get it and go. So he's their screen and their short guy, but he still has that speed. They use them differently, even though they're both fast. But if you're shading coverage over to Brennan, any one of these guys can hit you deep and win a rep. And the last thing we can do is let these guys, we can't go down on offense. So it's like, you cannot let these explosives. So I guess you play too high and you play off and you tell them, hey, you're just going to have to run it all game because we can't risk getting down 14 with the Texas offense. What do y'all think?
Yeah.
Completely with it. And that kind of brings me into, like, we're almost guaranteed that that's what we're going to see today with PK, right? That's just is what it is. Now, we got a question a second ago from, who was it? See, I think it was Gaddis. How much do we lose in run support with Michael Taft? And my answer, I just wanted to see if you guys agreed or disagree with me there, maybe slightly in terms of sure tackling, but knowing where to be and how quickly they can get there, I don't think you lose anything. So that's just kind of my personal thoughts. Texas has the luxury, right? And it's a similar discussion with the defensive tackle position, right? In years past, we've thought, okay, no way in heck you can replace, say, T'Vondre Sweat and Byron Murphy. Well, they did with Vernon Broughton and Alfred Collins and company. And no way that we can replace Alfred Collins and Vernon Broughton. And well, it seems like we're doing a pretty decent job of that so far with the 5 men and company that we've recruited and from the portal and brought in as well, that just kind of have molded into those bigger bodies. Now, Texas has a similar luxury in the secondary with safety being arguably one of the deepest rooms on the roster, maybe the deepest room on the roster if you really want to talk numbers. So rotation is going to be key here, but I think Texas has the luxury of willingly accepting and feeling confident about any team that wants to try to out-athlete them, right? They have the bodies to play those types of games and match up well with those people. But when you have a guy like Derek Williams, who is a seasoned player in this program, who knows exactly, it's not a sizable gap in athleticism or know-how when it comes to Michael Taft. It is an All-American. It's crazy to say that, but we said it was impossible to replace, the likes of, like I said, T'Vondre Sweat and Byron Murphy too. You can it just goes to show you that PK, how him and his staff on that side of the ball, how good of a job that they have done, and just not only recruiting and developing players, but getting guys like Derek Williams who truly understand the system and what they're being tasked with doing. So Texas is in a good spot there, man. But
I'll say this though, Taft is controlled chaos. Derek Williams and Jelani got to be wild, man. They don't run into when they're filling gaps and lanes. They're just kind of wild. They don't read it. Taft is like, oh, A, B gap, I'm going to hit the C gap and make a tackle. Yeah. Where Jelani is like, A, B gap is fogged, but I'm still hitting it. And then you see things bounce. So that's the biggest difference between, they got talent, but they're allowed to be wild a little bit because they got Taft to kind of get their back. Where Taft is calculated like, I need to cover the C and outside gap because A and B are taken away versus just flying in trying to knock somebody out. I think those are the second chance runs where the running back bounces outside. What safety is going to be there? Is Jelani going to be there, or did he overrun the play? Did Derek Williams overrun the play where Taft is like, I know where I'm supposed to be. I'm still going 100 miles an hour, but I'm controlled. I'm still reading what the offense is doing. I think that's the biggest difference.
So it sounds like you and I kind of see it similarly. Is that kind of what I said, kind of what you see? That's to me, I think that's what you're saying as well, right?
Yeah, talent-wise, it's not a drop-off. It's just a mental game.
I was going to say, I think there's an absolute difference in knowing what to do. I think there's probably an athletic upgrade,
right,
as far as those guys. But to me, it's very different. Like with what Taft knows to do and how to disguise and
run support, though.
I mean, because because here's the deal: it's like when you're talking about a guy like Michael Taft really had to fight for every little, he had to fight to get to even be on the field where he's at. So the amount of football knowledge that he has to have to even be on the field as a walk-on has to be really, really high, right? And it's just one of these deals where, too, I think what Coach Dub was saying, too, is like, I mean, man, when you're talking about Michael Taft, like when I think about Michael Taft, like I'm not sitting there, I'm not worried about the athleticism or anything like that loss. Because, like Homer said, I think that you do get a little bit of an upgrade with Xavier Filsaime, and maybe that might help us on some of these over-the-top shots, getting more of these athlete guys in space. But Man, when you're talking about like run game specifically, Michael Taft, that dude's who's the psychopath on this defense, right?
Exactly.
Who's the guy that says, you know what, I see Earl Campbell at practice and I want to be like him, right? Like I'm throwing Michael Taft will run his body 100% full speed into a wall just to stop a guy on third down. And I mean, like this is, or even second down or first down. Like, I mean, Michael Taft, it's hard to replace that level of impact that you get from his ability on the run defense side of the football, just because of like how much knowledge, but then also what he's willing to do with his body to sell out.
I want Taft's cleanup. I want Taft's cleanup. Like I love Williams or McDonald as a down safety because, like I said, they're incredibly athletic. They'll fill the hole. But if they don't come from the right angle or they don't have the right leverage, Taft is always there at the top and he comes and cleans it up. Who's going to be able to clean up? And so that's what I want to see when it comes to the run game. Now, I think both those guys will hit harder than Taft, because they have more mass.
Dude, I watched Jelani McDonald make Seth McGowan last week do a gymnastics trick on the sideline at full speed, a head-on collision. And Jelani McDonald made a 220-pound go backwards and do a gymnastics trick.
Yeah. Homer, it is honestly.
I'm not trying to discount what Michael Taft is as a player. I fully respect that. That's an NFL safety, guys. Trust me, it's an All-American. There's no denying that. I'm just saying specific. I'm giving the coaching staff credit for having their guys ready and being able to replace NFL caliber players. We've already seen that. I don't want to discount what we don't know just because we haven't necessarily seen it yet. Because PK has
looking at tape though, Jelani and Derek. If you play any NCAA or Madden, they're the people you hit stick a little too early and just missed your tackle completely because they were not in the right gap. If you play a deep middle safety and everybody's falling outside, I got any cutback. But if I'm outside safety and I got to fill the lane, I know I got the outside gap. My issue and worry about Derek Wilson and Jelani is they're going 100 miles an hour and they're going to contain the wrong gap because they just want to go and blow somebody up and then they're wrong. Where Michael Taft corrects coming from depth a lot of times where most people don't do that.
And you know what? To what Homer said too. I mean, Michael Taft he gives you a really good insight onto why the position is called a safety. He literally is the safety of the defense. He's like, hey, you know what? Here's the safety net. If anybody messes up, I'm going to be able to clean it up. And he's a massive reason why our explosive plays on defense, why we limit explosive plays so well on defense, especially in the run game.
We're going to need him in the pass game too. And so that's what we'll have to see because he's good at disguise. Now, like I said, Derek and Jelani are better athletes.
Way better.
They're just way better athletes.
Too.
Yeah, so we'll have to see.
That's a dog, dude. Yeah.
It's about knowing what to do. Because a fast athlete can make a fast mistake, and so that's
100%.
Hey, but I'd rather be making a mistake than be timid out there.
Yeah,
but I'd rather just have Taft where I don't have either problem. No
question.
In the world that we're in the circumstances that we're in, I like that.
Quentin. I don't think Quentin's ever seen an opposing player that he was like trash. He thinks everyone sucks. Brennan doesn't scare anyone but us. Shameful. Yeah, he does. He's the fastest player in the SEC. Quentin's coaching game plans would be hilarious. He'd be like, "They're softs. Don't worry about it. Play him, man." He's a real player, man. It's all good. All right. Limit the deep shots to Brennan, to Anthony Evans. If you remember versus Florida manned them up on the first drive and they hit them immediately. If you test them immediately, they're going to do that. We don't have great cornerback speed. Across the board, we don't have great cornerback speed. So I don't want to see press. If you do press, you better get hands on them because Florida was pressing with no hands, so it just defeated the whole purpose of it. But playoff, that's going to be a big, big factor.
Yep. Just don't trade Diggs, Kyer Elam, Deron Bland, and Reddy Stewart like the Cowboys do and be 10 to 12 off on 3rd and 4th and short, and we'll be okay.
Yeah, so it sounds like we want a happy medium between this pressing and playing 25 yards off the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. It's somewhere in the middle of press and 25 yards off. Before we keep going, though, guys, let's hear a quick word from a captain.
Any gate can be a tailgate.
thing, how do you shut down Brennan Thompson? Point number 2, get sacks. They're aware of it, so that's going to be the big thing. And then force those 3 and outs, man. You can't guarantee your offense is going to show up for you. Don't let them string together plays like that, because in the fourth quarter, that's where it gets tricky. But also tagged onto this on the tempo, and Jet Bush pointed it out in the All-22. PK is one of the coordinators that likes to get the call in late, right? He likes to know what they're doing. Kirby Smart does the same.
Yep.
Guess what? You better be lined up. Because they're going to push that tempo and they're going to run to the line. They do motion, so it's not like it's always pure straight to the line. But that's true. My 1200 is undefeated. Quentin, you got athletes because I know your style's straight man. Everyone's trash. You got players.
Not just man, press man.
Yeah,
like
everything is press man. Quentin's never seen an opposing player, and if he does, he's going to get them on his team.
And he's just cover 0. Just
hey. Quentin's third-year letterman on Twitter.
Yeah. He's gonna,
pressure behind press man. It's hilarious.
This is where legends are made on his solo. But congrats on that, though. That's tough to do, man. And
Paul and Ian would be proud.
Paul and Ian would be proud, man. Yeah, you should come on and you guys can all chat there. But pre-snap preparedness, get lined up, because another thing is that's how you get creased in the run game, right? If you're not in your gap and the linebacker's not sound up, or they're signaling, motioning, hey, do this. So pre-snap, be lined up, be aware.
You gotta be. You can see him every game lining everybody up. No, you got curl flat this time. You got deep there. Like, he's out there controlling it. When they're running switch verts and nobody's like, I don't want to see any palms up attitudes. And I thought you had, because that's where Taft came into play so much. So it's going to be very important to get lined up, because I feel like that's where they get us. We get catches at match 3. Oklahoma had some shots that were open. San Jose State had found some holes in the defense. It's on film. If they can protect, it's there. And with this type of speed, and if Shapen chooses the right receiver, because a lot of times he throws to the wrong guy. Hopefully he does today as well, but it's there. So we got to get lined up. I don't care if you see what defense we're in. We're coming after you. We see if you can get it, but because I don't want us mixing and matching, trying to cross. You got the field side, you got the boundary side this time. Like, no.
Well, your source said too, we notice Texas rock and roll safeties when we do XYZ, meaning that they're going to put you in formations where they know what you're going to do with the safety, and then they're going to exploit it. So do you play too high? And so it's like, that's the thing, is like they're keyed in on breaking your defensive structure and getting you out of position, right? So that's going to be a big, big, big thing. Something that I'm watching for too is, Anthony Hill has had a really quiet year, and as far as like getting to the quarterback, he's rushing more than he has in the past, and he's also getting less pressures, and he hasn't had a single sack all year. Like, this feels like a perfect game for him to just come out here and have like 2.5 sacks or something like that in a nice game. Like, I'm waiting for it, but at the same time, he's also. It's not like he's playing bad football, right? Like, you're not like sitting there saying like, "Hey, Anthony Hill's a liability out there." He's far from it. But this feels like a good breakout game for Anthony Hill on the pass rush. Robert, I agree with you, man. Texas defense only allows 11.3 per game. If our offense shows up, we should win this game 100%. And there's some of this that the offense is so bad, I'm having to be hard on the defense because they're the only competent one.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's the tricky part. If you're, what it's like at work when you have the coworker that you can trust and that you can't, you end up having to give more to you reward the good one by more work, unfortunately, because you just can't trust the other one. So that's why I end up kind of keying in more of the defense. It's not fair. It's inherently not fair, but it's just the reality of what we're dealing with. Well, it's like coaches say, like my coach used to say there and say, like, he's like, I'm not going to yell at you if I know you can't do it, right? Like, I'm only going to yell at you if I know you can do better, right? Because if I think that you can't do better, and I'm yelling at you, I'm just an asshole, right? So, mean. That is like, I love that. Where it's like, yeah, I'm going to hold the defense to a little bit of a higher standard here. Yeah, because we know they can do it, and so that's going to be the big, big thing for me. And then just the offense today, man, I just need to see like core competencies. This team is so weird. I wouldn't be surprised if the offense had a great game. But it's just if they have a great game, my confidence. I know I said earlier about Arch Manning having a good game passing, but if he has a good game passing, I'm just going to be like, okay, well, now are we going to get another bad game? Because it's been one bad game, good game, bad game, good game, bad game, good game, bad. Like, then also his success. What are we going to get? His success passing is not correlated to the defenses he faces.
No, not at all.
That's
just
why it's total nonsense. So even if they're
correlated to jumping off to which game he's alternating.
Yeah, but the fans are going to go, Mississippi State has a really great passing defense, so Arch is fixed. It's like it has nothing to do with their defense. It's just if he shows up or not. And so that's going to be the big factor. And he's on the road again. The road struggles have been kind of the consistent, right?
Yeah.
The ultimate team sport.
Mississippi State would be the second team that's actually said, I'm not afraid of the Texas logo and actually attack our defense. Outside of Florida, nobody else everybody else has played in the box.
Mm-hmm.
Mississippi State's not going to be afraid to say, I'm coming at you. See if you can stop me. Let's see if you are the best defense. Like, I think that's a thing. Because if they can win some battles, man, what does the offense confidence do? Offense really has to step in. They haven't been able to do it all year, really.
Yep. Well, that's the problem is the defense can dominate. It doesn't mean anything. Like we scored on OU on a busted play. So we wouldn't have scored a touchdown likely without that. We don't score a touchdown on Kentucky unless we get down to the 5. So the reality is, yeah, the defense could play a great game and give up 13 points. That doesn't guarantee a win with this Texas team. So it's also that kind of weird part. And I also, Niblett would be the greatest returner in the history of college football if he had to do this every game. It's impossible he's going to do that every game. So it's not going to happen. So it's asking Niblett to get touchdowns and returns. It just won't happen. So that's the part where we're just going to have to see it, man. Hopefully this week, Sark said, you know what? I get it. We're going to run this and do this. And that's what we hope to see.
I mean, I'm in here clapping in the commercial because we scored a touchdown on a commercial, right? Like, I mean, we're not scoring those. We're not scoring many of these things in games.
Yeah.
And honestly, one of the things I want to see in this, I just want to see this team go out there and like be mean on offense in the red zone, right? Like we've talked about this in the past. Like when we get closer to the goal line, like the confidence level goes down in the ability to score the ball.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, dude, just get it done, man. I don't know how else to say it, right? Like it should not be this hard, right? Like because it's at that point it's just physicality, and when you're a team that prides yourself on being a physical football team, it doesn't feel like rocket science.
It's not. It's physicality, but it's also just execution. I mean, there's teams that pass in the red zone too and get it done. We can't do any of it. So it's not even purely like O-line. It's just whatever it is going on year 3 of that. But let's go get this win. Hopefully it's an enjoyable game, especially with all the noise going on. I hope it just works. Nash has to start getting his Texas every play ready, so he's going to do that for y'all. But the goal is just let's enjoy it. It can be a good game, but it doesn't need to be one of those ones from Kentucky. That's for sure. Everybody needs a solid win here.
Yeah.
Guys, go to Inside Texas. You can join for just $1 single right now. You know the drill. And go hang out in the game thread, man. People are talking the whole time. It's a lot of fun. And this was the pregame show. And we will be right on as soon as the clock strikes zeros. We will be on for our postgame. And this was brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Peace, y'all. Hook 'em.